Here we go. So hi everyone, my name is Claire Summers. I'm currently the nurse educator at WACHS in the mental health team. I'm going to talk a little bit about mental health nursing in general, and then also what our WACHS mental health program is all about. There's a photo. I just wanted to start off with an acknowledgement of lived experience as well. So I know we've done an acknowledgement of country, so I'm not going to repeat that, but I would like to acknowledge the individual and collective experience of those with living or lived experience of mental health, alcohol, and other drugs. We recognise their vital contribution at all levels, including those present today who bring their consumer or carer expertise to share. We also recognise their voice, insight, and the emotional energy that it takes to share this expertise, which is essential to achieve better outcomes for all. So I guess just an overview, a quick slide. I know mental health nursing is often the black swan in the nursing world. However, these are some statistics from WA, just kind of highlighting. You can see I've circled that suicide is the leading cause of death for people aged 15 to 44 years old. And I feel like I didn't know that when I kind of first went into nursing. And it's often a statistic that's quite kind of confronting to think about. So I guess no matter where you decide to go with your grad program or where you go in your nursing career, at some point, probably in the first 12 months or 6 months, you are going to come across someone who is experiencing mental health issues or is currently or previously been suicidal. So it's important that we consolidate the skills that you've already learnt through your undergraduate degrees about mental health and how to talk to people about their mental health. And then the next slide, I can get my clicker to work. Oh, it's lost connection. Oh, here we go. This is just an overview of some mental health presentations in ED for WA. So I know a lot of people come into nursing and they want to go into those high acuity areas like ED and ICU. And if that is you, I guess it's just to highlight the proportion of mental health presentations and what kind of, sorry, I'm at home, what kind of, you might hear my doorbell, what kind of presentations we have. So you'll see that our regional and remote areas down the bottom in the light blue have a proportionately higher presentations for mental health in ED than metro. And then you'll also see our Aboriginal people are 4.6 times more likely to present to ED for mental health. And some other statistics that I haven't popped on there, but the most common presentation for mental health related is neurotic, stress-related and somatoform disorders, which is 27% of presentations. And then the next highest proportion is mental and behavioural disorders due to psychoactive substance use. So things like drug-induced psychosis. So yeah, I guess regardless of where you go, if you are going into ED or you're going into ICU or you're going into a general ward, you will come across mental health presentations, and that's kind of an idea of what you might come across. So even if you don't decide to go into mental health nursing for your first 12 months of your transition to practice part of your career, if you can get the opportunity to attend any study days or courses on mental health nursing or how to talk to people about mental health, I'd strongly recommend attending these, because the skills that you'll learn you can take through into any area. So for example, at WACHS, we run study days. So I run some study days through the backup support group. So if you come into WACHS on a non-mental health program, you probably see us around. Obviously, whereas if you come onto the mental health program, we do a bit more intensive kind of education study days. But an overview of WACHS mental health. So we have 4 inpatient units. We have Broome, Kalgoorlie, Albany and Bunbury. So all of our inpatient units are authorised, which means they have both voluntary and involuntary beds, or people under the Mental Health Act, and then people that have presented voluntarily. We take both ENs and RNs into our inpatient units for our transition to practice programs. And then with our community mental health teams, we have 27 teams at the moment across WA in all of our regions. Our community mental health teams are mostly Monday to Friday clinic hours. So if you're not interested in shift work, that might be an option. But we also do things like satellites into our really remote, like Aboriginal communities. So you might go out with a psychiatrist or a doctor and an Aboriginal mental health worker. Obviously, we do the permission and stuff to enter the community. And then you might go out for a day and visit a really remote community. So there's kind of different options within the community mental health. So it's not always, I guess, in a clinic setting. Some of our community teams also have the opportunity to do some work from home. It's not a guarantee, it's not a promise, but that's something that can be worked out depending on which community team you go to, which region, your client load, things like that. But it is something that we do offer in our community teams. The closest kind of community teams to Perth, if you are in Perth, because I know lots of people are hesitant to have family or friends commitments in Perth, would be Northern, which is depending on where you are in Perth, but for most people it's about an hour out of Perth, followed by Merredin, and then there's the Bunbury, Busselton area, where there's a few teams there, because there's Bunbury, Busselton, Margaret River, etc. And then there's Geraldton as well. With our community mental health program, we only take RNs in that setting. So unfortunately not ENs at this stage. And then if you are successful through the Grad Connect process, we would ask you, you usually get a phone call from myself or one of my colleagues, and we'll have a chat about what experience you would prefer and which region you would prefer. So again, we try and just work with you as the graduate and try and work something that's going to suit your lifestyle, your family commitments, work-life balance, that sort of thing, but also what region you might be interested in. So if you really don't like the heat, you might not want to go up to Broome. So we'll look at maybe like Albany or something a bit cooler. Or if you're super keen on surfing or something, we'll try and keep you around Margaret River, Albany. So we try and work with you in that regard. We want you to get the most out of your 12 months with us. So we want to find something that interests you and something that you're going to enjoy. And then we also have our 24/7 ETS service. So it's not an opportunity for transition to practice grads, but I suppose it gives you an idea of how WACHS mental health works across to cover such a big area. So we have 24/7 clinical nurse consultants who can video chat and jump onto things like Teams and help out with if you're in like a super remote area and you haven't necessarily got a psychiatrist there on site with you. You can phone into ETS. I do have a video to play, but Marty and I are not sure if it's going to play, so we're going to give it a go. My clicker's also lost connection, but I will.
More than 1 in 5 Australians will suffer a mental illness that requires hospitalisation or community mental health service support in their lifetime. Over the last decade, the number of nurses working in the mental health sector has increased by 50%.
Mental health nursing is all about working in a multidisciplinary team. We've all got eclectic skills, and so a multidisciplinary team in providing a service for our patients. We've got ATT services, which is assessment treatment team, the home treatment team that we're going to be opening as well. But also we've got consultation liaison, where you actually work within the general hospital, working with the homeless, working with drug and alcohol services. So there's so many roads that you could take.
Working in mental health means working differently. Different places, different patients, and different solutions.
One that I'm doing at the moment with the police to work an afternoon, and I'm driving around in an unmarked police car with a couple of officers, and we're attending all of the welfare calls, the mental health jobs that the police get called to.
In rural and remote settings, you often get a lack of general health services, a lack of allied health services, a lack of options of where to refer. So you get a huge, rich experience because there aren't so many services, and you get a wonderful opportunity to develop loads of skills that you wouldn't if you were in a metropolitan area.
Mental disorders can vary in severity and can be short-term or episodic, or persistent and requiring long-term healthcare solutions.
In postnatal mental health, we work with mothers who usually when they're pregnant, some moms go through postnatal depression, which can be psychosis. Being a first-time mom, it can be very frightening for them. We support them through that journey, stabilize their mental health so they can go back to normal functioning.
So a lot of people that come to the service have very poor physical health and they're already attending a community outpatient service, and my role is to engage them in primary care through using a unique model of looking at their being sensitive to their psychiatric concerns as well as undertaking assessment, screening and care of their physical health.
Nursing in the mental health sector offers a unique opportunity to make a real difference to the outcomes of vulnerable people in our community.
The motivation for work is trying to make a change and make a positive difference to people's lives. It's more about sort of developing a relationship with patients and working out what their mental state is and what you need to do to keep them safe.
Every day you learn something new about somebody that you're going to work with.
Mental health is a growing sector in nursing, with vast career opportunities for nurses from all disciplines and levels.
I always say to students that come through, there's so many opportunities.
I completed my statewide graduate program here and I loved it and I just never left.
I did a comprehensive degree in nursing in New Zealand and then chose to specialise in mental health and started a grad program there through the University of Otago, and then spent some time inpatient nursing and then travelled to Australia.
I think Australia needs more mental health nurses. We need to encourage all the young nurses that are joining the profession, give them branch exposure, allow them to come and do more clinical placements in mental health settings so they can see what it is, what it entails, and then they can make an informed decision to become a mental health nurse.
You have just this massive opportunity to impact people, and I think that's really, really exciting.
If you ask a person on the street, what does a nurse do? They wouldn't describe anything that a mental health nurse does because it's such a different, unique role.
All of those wonderful attributes that nurses have wherever we are really come to the forefront in mental health.
Cool. So, perfect. Thanks, Marty. Apologies if you couldn't see the video, but hopefully you could at least hear it. Otherwise, I think they mentioned earlier that this maybe our slides will go out, but regardless, yeah, I guess as I mentioned, just a nice overview of kind of different areas of mental health and where you can go. I'm just trying to get my clicker to connect. There we go. So our transition to practice program at WACHS, we have a mental health skills day, which we are open to if you're joining WACHS on the general program or one of the programs that Lisa mentioned, but you want to attend the skills day, I'm happy to organise that as well. You also have one-to-one virtual support, so via Teams with our mental health SDN or nurse educator, which is me at the moment. And then we'll also give you an on-site mentor as well and allocate one for you, so you have some on-site support as well. We also offer reflective supervision, so you can look at choosing a supervisor to continue professional development that way. We also have a mental health self-directed learning package. Again, if you're not joining the mental health specific program, but you're on our WACHS program, happy to share that resource as well. As I mentioned, the skills are transferable into whatever setting you decide to go with your career. And then we also have access to some e-learning modules as well. So that's kind of an overview of our program. We have additional education days throughout the program as well. And then you also have support from the backup group, which is a WACHS-wide support group for our for all staff, but our new grads find it very helpful. And within the mental health team, we also have some staff wellbeing initiatives. We run a meditation and mindfulness group. It's done online, and we have different kind of leaders or teachers, I guess, come in and run that meditation. But yeah, and then I guess as another plug, 96% of our grads at the moment decide to stay on. in mental health after they've done their 12-month program. They decide to continue employment in that area or within WACHS. And that other 4% is not due to the fact that we didn't have a position for them. So we will find kind of ongoing employment for you within mental health in WACHS if you decide to stay on with us. But yeah, that is it from me. I'm happy to, if there's any questions around WACHS mental health. Otherwise, I think we have another breakout room session coming up, and we're up on level 10. There's myself. You can see my little logos, the WACHS mental health tree. And there's also my colleague, Jen Smith, as well, who's the coordinator of mental health nursing. So we're up on level 10 on one of the tables up there. Or you can flick me an email, and I'm happy to have a chat. I saw a question in the Q&A, but I think it was for Lisa, more so probably than me, about the travel program being available to ENs. Did you answer that one, Lisa? I did duck out and get a drink.
I was just going to go through some of them now when you're finished, Claire.
Yeah, I'm all done.
I'll just go in and answer some of these questions. So thank you for sending through the questions. Yep, I will add in my and email's Wendy address. It is lisanatoli@health.wa.gov.au, but I will put that into the chat. Yes, sorry, I didn't get to mention, but the travel program, we do one for enrolled nurses, registered nurses and registered midwives. So yes, we do accommodate ENs. Yes, sorry, some of the images that were coming up were a bit distorted. Sorry about that. But as I think you're going to have access to the slides anyway, so you'll be able to see them. Is there any other questions that I can answer about graduate programs, general graduate programs, or the travel program? Sponsorship, that's something you'll have to discuss with each site individually. So in our breakout areas, we do have our grad nurse coordinators from all of the 7 regional centres who will be able to answer if you've got a specific question regarding the sponsorship options. They'll be able to answer it for you. Sam's asked one about the midwifery grad program. So Sam, I'll get Wendy to provide her email address, and you'll be able to ask some more specifics, or you'll be able to ask each site in the breakout area more specifics about the graduate midwifery programs. Yes, some of the sites do offer a 6-month hospital and 6-month community health. And that's something, again, that you can, if you've got a specific region that you'd like to do a graduate program in, that they'll be able to specify for. No, at the moment, we don't have a fly-in, fly-out model for our graduate nurses to actually be based in the region that they're completing the 12 months for. So that's that question there. The travel program, I'm more than happy to provide any further information, the participants manual and site rotations about the travel program. So if you'd like to email me directly, I can send that through to you. The Pilbara region do take a significant amount of graduates, and we do have a coordinator for the Pilbara that will be in one of the breakout sessions that you'll be able to actually ask further information about doing a graduate program at Karratha Hospital. If you've got preferences, Christina's sent in an email, you'll be able to discuss that with the site that you actually, or the region that you're actually going to apply for a graduate program, about what preferences you have and if they're able to accommodate it. Accommodation options. So most of them are single subsidised accommodation options. Some of them do have partner accommodation options available at different sites. Again, that's something you need to discuss directly with the region about what options are available. Yep, the graduate coordinators will arrange accommodation for you. Our enrolled nurses courses Yep, so most of the enrolled nurses, the TAFEs do the enrolled nurse program. So I know there's some in the Goldfields, Southwest. Have to find out which other regions, but I do know that some of our regions do the enrolled nursing programs. No, not at the moment. There's no, someone has asked, is there any collaboration with Metro and WACHS sites for a graduate program? Unfortunately, at the moment, there's not. Lisa, is there a joint grad program? Been up for the first time in March, 6 months. Oh, Jodie, I'm not sure about that. You'll have to, Jodie sent me a question and I think you'll have to email me separately about that one to answer that one. So someone has asked, will all debt be paid off? I think it's up to $12,000. The HECS fee will be paid to after 3 years of continuation of service with the Darth site. But we can email you the link to the information and you can access all of the HECS information. I think it's actually also on the Grad Nurse Connect website as well. Yes, Annie will be available from the WACHS Kimberley for a chat in the breakout sessions later on. Or I think for you, Claire.
Is that the sponsorships one? Yeah. If you mean in terms of visas and things, I'm guessing, then it's definitely something that we do and we have done before. But the CNMO team might be able to provide more specific information other than that. But it's definitely an option for WACHS mental health. But depending on the process, CNMO might know more and they're on level 1 in the breakout session. But if it's not about visa sponsorships and about sponsorship for something else, feel free to come and have a chat on level 10 and we can talk a bit more as well.
Sam's asked, is a debt payment only if you do a country grad program? So the HECS debt that I was talking about is only for graduate nurses that are placed in WA country health sites. So it is in a country. And then there is a travel program open to graduates? Yes, once you've completed 12 months, you can apply for a position in the travel program. Yep, so you have to complete 12 months and then you're eligible to apply for an enrolled nurse, a registered nurse or a registered midwife position in the travel program. So as you can see, Claire and I have really given just a general overview, but the specifics, if you're asking about specifics regarding a relevant region and what they have on offer in regards to accommodation, specialties, rotations, you actually need to go to the breakout session for that relevant region and then you can discuss the specifics with that region. As you know, there's 7 regions, so it's a lot of information and we don't have the specifics on each region. Yes, the travel program is only for second-year graduates. Poor Wendy's had difficulties entering the chat, but she has provided her email address up there. So if there's anything midwifery that you'd like to talk to, please, or ask, please email Wendy directly and she'll be able to provide you with all the relevant information. Do you have to work in the country for a period of time, i.e. 5 years, if you do your grad program and WACHS pays for the HETS? I'd have to read up onto the HECS information. As I said, it is actually on the Grad Nurse Connect website and our slides will actually encompass the information as well.
Thanks so much, Lisa and Claire, for your presentation. We've got time. If there's any more questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. And Claire, apologies for interrupting your video. I had some technical issues of my own at this end. I couldn't see it. And Lisa's email address is in the chat if you would like to contact her separately. WACHS will be located on floor 9 for all your questions at the breakout sessions from 1:30. So thank you very much again, Lisa and Claire. If there's no more questions, we'll move on to our next presentation, who will be Shannon Teal, our Senior Aboriginal Health Project Officer, and she's going to talk to us about candidate support available for Aboriginal applicants. Thanks, Shannon.
There we go. Awesome. Can you hear me all right, Mel? Yeah.
Yep,
awesome.
all good to go.
Wonderful. Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Mel. So, yeah, my presentation today will be talking about the Aboriginal Candidate Care component of Grad Connect. I did do an acknowledgement earlier, but I would like to, again, acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nations on whose land I'm joining from today, and all Aboriginal people from the many different traditional lands and language groups, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Aboriginal Australians and non-Indigenous Australians for their contribution to the health, wellbeing and education of all people in WA. So what is Grad Connect? So Grad Connect obviously is a centralised interview recruitment process and offers access to a wide range of employment opportunities in all participating private, public and aged care health providers. It enables exposure to a variety of clinical settings and helps to further develop critical skills and judgment. While undertaking the graduate process isn't mandatory for initial or ongoing employment, it is very positive and supportive start to your career, so definitely worthwhile considering. A lot of information in the presentation earlier provided by Lauren, but just touch base briefly on some of those components. So what's new? So Grad Connect is transitioning from a biannual process to an annual process in 2024. So applications will open in March and close in April, so you'll have a little over 2 weeks to complete your applications. It's a great idea to get a head start. So within the presentation, there will be a QR code that Aboriginal applicants can go and register for candidate care and support. And I'll be providing that support to you throughout the whole entire process. But really don't want to leave it till the last minute. So you want to get a bit of a head start, and that's what I'm here for. The other thing that's new is our Grad Connect handbook. I know that's been spoken about a couple of times again throughout this presentations. The handbook has been designed to provide essential information and will be referred to throughout Grad Connect, throughout the Aboriginal applicant support process, and will be available on our website before the end of the year. So supporting Aboriginal applicants. So they're encouraged, obviously, to register for our candidate care and support if as soon as you're ready for it, as soon as you're available for it. So information, support sessions will be advised, whether they're virtual or in person. The sessions will provide an opportunity to ask any questions, get feedback, understand what to expect, what the process is for Grad Connect, any sort of timelines, information, anything that I can sort of help with. The Aboriginal applicants will sort of go to my next one. So again, it'll be provided, assistance will be provided and support will be provided provided in selecting and applying throughout your interview, what to be prepared for. During the application, guidance can be provided on the different sites, finding the right fit for you, what you sort of want to do, with your career, and that kind of thing. So our eligibility criteria, I won't sort of go too in depth, but to be eligible for registration, the Nursing and Midwifery Board. So please be mindful that the recruitment team will want to have a look at this. Want you to be registered at least 2 weeks before your commencement date. To be an Aboriginal, to be an Australian citizen. Won't go into that any further. Completing your nursing or midwifery studies after the 1st of January. And not have completed or participated in a graduate program in the same designation. So ENs can obviously register, participate and apply for a position as a registered nurse, a midwife, registered nurses, register for midwifery, but you can't participate in a graduate program from a designation that you've already applied for previously. So applications, so you will need to provide 2 references, and it's highly recommended that one of those references is a clinical supervisor, so somebody that you've worked with, somebody that can, speak to the work that you've done, the roles that you've done clinically. The second one is identification, so making sure you've got proof of citizenship, immunisation, and obviously your CV for our midwifery graduates. Some dates. So it's important that each participating health service will have their own internal processes and intakes. So an intake is defined by a graduate program. So it will depend on obviously the graduation, your registration, those kinds of things. And the number of intakes will vary from each health service as well. So some health services might have 1 intake per year, other health services might have 4 intakes per year. And that means that you could enter in the first intake, you might enter in the second intake, and so on and so forth. So round 1 will be your first preference round. So you'll have an opportunity to 2 preferences. So this will be your first round. It'll start on the 15th of March and will close in April. So you have a little over 2 weeks to complete your applications. Interviews will likely be conducted from the 4th of April to about the 14th. And can you see that? Yeah. 14th of May. And by the 15th of
Mel, it looks like Shannon's got pretty low internet. You might want to come back on stage.
Hey, apologies for that. It looks like Shannon's video has dropped off momentarily. I just want to, while we're waiting to see if we can get Shannon back online to finish her presentation, once again, thank you very much to East Metro Health Service and WA Country Health Service for sharing their graduate program information with us. There's so much variety, and I don't envy your choice in deciding what graduate program will be right for you. There's certainly a lot of exciting opportunities out there available to you. Also, just a reminder that this is a first time event for us, and we would love to hear your feedback on this virtual forum. So there will be a QR code available. It's up on your screen now. And it's also available, I believe, in the general chat feed. If you could please scan the QR code and complete the survey, that would be greatly appreciated. It will help us to make improvements for future events. The next breakout session is due at 1:30 and will go till 2:30 when we will resume the remaining presentations. I'll just wait one moment and see. Marty, do you know if it looks like Shannon's going to be able to complete her presentation?
No, it looks like she's dropped off completely. Mel, it looks like you're muted there.
Apologies. I'm sorry, it looks like we've lost Shannon, and we will have to make that presentation available as a slide pack online once the forum has been completed. So for now, we will leave the presentation mode and invite everyone to come and network and ask your questions on all the different floors. Oh, is that Shannon
here
now?
she comes back.
Still loaded. Can you hear me, Mel?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I think you might have dropped out again. I can see a little warning symbol.
No,
I can't.
I think you're there. It's just very low internet. So you're back on.
Okay.
I'll let you finish your
technical
presentation. Thanks, Shannon.
Technical difficulties for the day. I apologise, everybody. I wonder if that's come up. Yeah. So second, I'm not sure where you've heard up to, but essentially second round will commence the 28th of May and run through until the 20th of June, where they're conducted. They'll end on the 21st. Offers will be made. And then once that process has been completed, applicants can enter a pool in which where they'll be able to be picked up by one of the health services right up until February 25. Yeah, got that one in there. So employment information. So opportunities are offered across metro and regional areas at each of the health services that are participating, and they have, obviously, as I said, their own unique graduate programs, meaning different timeframes, clinical rotations, that kind of thing. The presentations you'll see today are great because they'll give you a bit of insight into what you can expect from the different health services. And then my role will be to support you in making the decision that's going to be the best fit for you, for finding work-life balance, and what you want to pursue throughout your career. You again have the option to select two preferences, so your first preference and second preference. It will not increase your chances in gaining employment at any health service if you select the same preference for both for both of your preferences. So really have a think about it, do a bit of research, where you sort of want to see yourself, or what sort of services you're interested in. That way, you'll be able to make the right decision. And it is quite competitive, so just be mindful that some of the areas, perioperative placements and things like that, as mentioned in the previous presentation, will vary in terms of when they have how many placements, where they are, and those kinds of things. So it's important to make the right decision. So what to consider. So if you're an Aboriginal graduate nurse or midwife and you're looking to sort of enter into the Grad Connect process, essentially we'll offer helping you prepare your best application, supporting you in selecting the right fit for you, selection criteria, information, support, guidance. I can direct you anywhere else that might be able to help, and also preparing for your interviews. So it's all done in a way in which we're, it's culturally safe, culturally appropriate. You can reach out to me at any time if there's any questions or anything that I can sort of help with. That's available for you. And finally, this is me. So if you have any questions, or if there's anything that I could help you with, if you'd like to register for our Grad Connect, that would be great. Candidate care support. I will be available on floor 1 on table 10 if there's any questions, but I'll go through these. Oh no, these are from me. Thanks, Mel.
Thanks so much, Shannon. We'd like to invite you now, if you've got any questions for Shannon, feel free to pop them in the chat.
There is a question here around proof of Aboriginality. You don't need to have proof of Aboriginality throughout the to apply for Grad Connect. Essentially, there'll be an option for you to select whether you're Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander, or Torres Strait Islander. So you'll be able to sort of let us know where you stand, and we can sort of I can reach out to you in that way. If you do register for the Candidate Care and Support, then we'll sort of have further conversations from there, and I'll be able to provide you with assistance and support. So, yeah. Don't know that there are any other questions.
Right, it doesn't look like there's any more questions there.
Wonderful, easy.
Oh, there's one just popped in now.
So thanks for the question, Jo. So essentially what it will be supporting Aboriginal applicants for sort of any questions that they have around our Grad Connect process. So obviously we're moving to an annual process now. So if there's any questions around dates and times of graduating, if they require support, if they need assistance with addressing the selection criteria or eligibility criteria, if there's, they want assistance with selecting their preferred site. So, a site that they think, oh yeah, I want to maybe go here because it's close to home, but I prefer this Grad Connect program, working with them to really make the right decisions and helping them prepare for interview processes, that kind of thing. So it's really around just providing and bolstering that support for Aboriginal applicants.
There was also a question about how they can access that support and how to contact you. So Shannon's details are up on the slide now, and you can feel free to email her. Otherwise, there'll be information in the Grad Connect handbook that will be published on our website before the end of the year.
Awesome. Thanks, Mel.
Thanks so much, Shannon, for your time today. And thank you, everyone. Again, just a reminder to complete that feedback survey. The QR code link is up on your screen now. We will now just have a brief break, and we will meet you for the breakout session from 1:30 till 2:30. And after the breakout session, we'll be hearing from South Metropolitan Health Service. Thank you, everyone.